this verse number 6. And these last few days, these different verses, we've been describing how to attain prema in the mood of Madhurya Bhav, Braja Bhav, in the mood of a loving maidservant of Srimati Radharani, Palidasi, Kinkari, Gopi. So we heard about the abhiman, or the mentality, how one should think of oneself. It's a new way of thinking, new ideas, new conception. Sometimes when a person gets injured in an accident, he succumbs to a disease called amnesia, which means forgetfulness. He forgets who he is. And he doesn't know where he is. And if he's been married for 75 years, or whatever, 25 years, and they bring his wife in and say, "Who is this?" "I don't know." And bring in his children, who are they? "I don't know." Who are you? "What is your name?" "I don't know." What kind of work do you do?" "Work? I don't know." You know, you studied this in college? It's called amnesia. So they give various drugs and physiotherapy and hypnotism and try to introduce him to all kinds of familiar objects and try to get something to click in his memory banks to get the whole thing working again. So he starts to realize, yes, I'm Mr. Gupta. And this is Preeti Gupta, my lifelong companion. And this is my daughter and son, and like this. So in a similar way, we have amnesia. Every conditioned soul has amnesia. He thinks all of our thinking and our conceptions and our identifications is wrong, dead wrong. And so the acharyas are acting as spiritual therapists, spiritual psychiatrists, trying to do past life regression. Guess what? You're a gopi. You're a coward boy. You just didn't know it. And you forgot it for eternity. So that the previous day's discussion, the verses from Bhajana Rahasya were to take us out of amnesia and bring us back to some kind of Swarup Siddhi. Swarup Siddhi means eternal spiritual form. My Rupam form. My perfectional form, not this material body designation. Like now we may be a Sankirtan Brahmachari, Raghava Brahmachari. In next life we become Mrs. Jones. And then changing genders, we can change genders from life to life, we can change social positions, we can even change our forms from life to life. It's called metamorphosis, change of form. One day caterpillar, one day moth. One day human being, one day dog. One day human being, one day pig. This happens. So now we have to change our conception. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhajana Rahasya and Narottam Das Thakur and Prem Bhakti Chandrika and so many other important books, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das. They're saying, and even Sanatana Kumara Samhita, one of the ancient books of Samhitas, are saying, think of yourself like this. You're a young Kishori Gopi, protected maidservant of Radharani. So all right, because just like in this example I gave you of the man with amnesia, we tried to say, who are you? And bring all his children, wife, his mother. You know, but the mother, I mean, now, listen, the guy's 65 years old and they bring in his mother. Don't you recognize your mother? Like the gopis, when they met Uddhava, they say, okay, maybe he doesn't ask about us gopis now that he's in Mathura, surrounded by all those hi-fi, you know, well-bred city ladies of Mathura, the Mathura Ramanis. And we didn't have any formal relationship with him, and we didn't meet him very much, and we weren't his wives or his servants or paid maidservants or anything. We were simply his illicit lovers, his paramour lovers. So he may have easily forgotten us, but doesn't he remember his mother? Doesn't he remember Mother Yashoda or Nanda, who loved him so dearly and cared for him 24 hours a day and fed him and taught him and chastised him and clothed him and fixed him up and bandaged him and everything? Doesn't he even remember them? Is he so callous and ruthless? So that's where the buck stops there. I mean, at least someone's memory will find something to latch onto if one comes in front of his mother. So then that's showing some person that reminds us of our identity. But then, as you're trying to take the person out of amnesia, first you try to identify who he is and who his relatives and relationships are. Mother, father, wife, husband. And then next thing is, where do you live? Do you recognize your place of your work or your house? So then today's verse is about the residence, the bhajan practice and the residence. Where will a manjari live? Because now we have amnesia. Where's your home? Oslo, Delhi, Bombay, Goa, Russia. Acha. Yes, I'm born in Helsinki or whatever, here or there, everywhere. But no, I'm sorry, your birthplace is Varsana. Or you will be born in Varsana, in a Manjari Bhav. And you will get married generally, not always, but generally. The Manjaris get married, and they move to Yavat. And they work and their boss, they work for a boss. They all get jobs, they go to school and get qualification, and they work for a firm called Radha Group of Industries. You've heard? Radha Group of Industries. It's a conglomerate company made of many Sakis and Manjaris and grandmothers, and all kinds of people are working for Radharani. Mukara, their grandmother, Yogamaya, Purnamasi, it's an equal opportunity company. Men and women are both hired, young and old. Even animals work for Radharani Group of Industries. Deer and parrots, cobras, sometimes they serve the cause of Radharani's loving pastimes, amazingly enough. So you'll get a job over there in Yavat, and sometimes you'll have to travel, so you have to work that out with your husband, that he won't mind if you travel occasionally. This is the nature of this job. When you work for Radha Group of Industries, you can't just stay in Yavat, you have to travel. Sometimes you have to go to Varsana, sometimes to Nandagram, and different parts of Braj, working for the boss, Radharani. So then you'll have a place of residence and a place of work, and you'll have work you have to do. But it won't be called work, it'll be called your Nitya Seva. Prem Seva. Not drudgery, but love. You say, oh, I have to work. I don't like my job. I wish I could do something else. I wish I made more money. I wish I had a better boss. But working for Radharani means you have the best boss in the universe, and the best possible working conditions, and the best possible dividends and benefits, and the best possible vacations, and the best possible health care, and the best possible work conditions, and co-workers to work with. They're all friends, Sakis. And it's called seva, praying seva. So now in this verse, he's talking about the best process and place to execute now prem nam bhajan. How to attain prem, the place and method. The method of bhajan and the place of residence of one who possesses the mood described in text 5 of Astamayama Sadhana Bhajana Rahasya, which was the mood of a manjari, wearing Radharani's prasadi vesh and hankering for her service, is this, and now he cites a verse from Rupa Goswami, Upadeshamrita. What is the best bhajan to do to become a manjari, maidservant of Radharani? Tanama rupa charitari sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan vrajetaranuragi jananugami kalam nayat akilam ityupadeshasaram. This is taken from Upadesh Amrita by Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. This is number 8 out of 11. So that's the bhajan, that's called the Abhideya. First, it's a very beautiful, wonderful book, important book, taking us from Bhakti Jo to Prem Manjari Dasi. You know, I started off as Bhakti Jo. And after a few years, I became Prem Manjari Dasi. Yeah, that's really cool. How'd you do that? Tan nama rupa charitari sukirtanani. That's right. Smrityo kramena rasana manasi. So the beginning of Upadeshamrita starts off with Sambandha. What's it all about? What is the foundation of my existence? What is the identity of my existence? Am I the tongue? Am I the mind? Am I anger? And what is that? Vachu vegam, manasikroda vegam, jiva vedam, urapashta vegam. Am I this belly which I serve so nicely? Udar, damodar. We should tie up this belly. Like once there's a pastime, just to wake everybody up. Well, the philosophy is very sleepy stuff. There's a pastime of Ganesh. He was invited to some demigod's party, and they fed him lots of ladus because if Ganesh is happy, then everything becomes auspicious and successful. So people like to make Ganesh happy by puja, by pat, by prayers, and so in the demigods' land, they don't have Siddhi Vinayak deities and murtis. They have Sakshat Ganesh, and have the adhikar to invite them to their house for lunch or for parties. And when they get a new palace and things, and Indra's wife makes him build a new house. So then he has a Griya Pravesh, invites all the demigods. Right, this goes on up there also. So then all the demigods came, and so Ganesh was invited, and they know that he likes nothing more than ladus. So these big Raj ladus, big, all kinds of nuts inside. So he ate a lot of those ladus, so many, 200, 300, 400, 500, I don't know, so many. And he became so big, very big, chaka. And he is really in bliss, Anand. So then he was going home in his car, his driver. But he rides on a mouse, a sports mouse. Not a regular house mouse. It's like an Italian model, sports mouse. So he sat there and he put his seatbelt on, which was the tail of the mouse. The mouse's tail, the seatbelt. And then he's cruising down some of the freeways up there in the Celestial region. And the mouse, he saw a snake, cobra went like that. And as you may know if you're from the village, the main chop and bog for a snake is a mouse. As they go to the fields and eat the grains and live in a hole, then the snake comes along and eats the mouse and lives in the same hole. Very convenient. So then when a mouse sees a snake, Baba, this is death personified. So he's spooked. It's called spooked, like a horse spooks and runs crazy. So then Ganesh, this, sports mouse, saw this cobra, and then, he reared up like this. And Ganesh toppled off, he fell out of the car rolled over. He rolled it, he rolled the car in the freeway. But because he was wearing a seatbelt, he wasn't injured. He had a mouse-tailed seatbelt, so he was all right. But anyway, he tumbled out there a little bit, and he hit his belly, and it pierced his belly, it busted. And then all these ladus came tumbling out of his belly, which he ate at that party, that Kriya Pravesh of Indra's house. And he was very sad, not over the accident, crashing his sports mouse. You can fix that in the shop. But he was in anxiety because all these ladus popped out of his belly. And he was really angry at this snake that caused his mouse to get scared and dump him out of the car. So he picked up all his ladus and he stuffed them back and opened a hole of his belly, but then he had to patch it up and do some. So he took that snake and he said, "You rascal." And he took the snake and he put it around his belly and tied a knot. And he used the snake to tie his belly and tied a big knot around his belly to keep all the ladus in. And a lot of times when you see a Ganesh deity, there's some snake here or there. So this is one leela behind how the snake came about. So I'm speaking about Upadeshamrita, in case you wonder where we are. And in that verse it says, Vacho Vegam, Udarapasta Vegam, Jiva, what is it? Vacho Manasa Vedam, Manakota Vegam, Jiva Vegam. It says Udarapashta Vegam. Udarapashta, we have to learn to control the Udara. The pushings of the Udara means the belly, Dam Odhara. This is an example of someone who wasn't so much controlling his belly, and it blew up. So Upadeshamrita, so we shouldn't eat so much that our belly blows up. At least on a daily basis. Maybe on Gurudev's birthday and Janmastami and Radhastami, then we can let loose and enjoy the Mahaprasad. So this Upadeshamrita begins with controlling our belly, our tongue. This is Sambandha Gyan. Then it goes through Abhideya. First realize the foundation, the beginning of it all. The Sambandha means the beginning, the foundation, the relationship, the basis, the starting point. The starting point is, hey, guess what? You're not the tongue. Vacho Vegam. You've been serving the pushings of your tongue for 50 million lifetimes, and serving the pushings of anger and uncontrolled speech as a bird. I mean, they were just going at it day and night. Or as a monkey, wow. Or as a dog, and all night, how. And talk about uncontrolled speech. I mean, people have to throw bricks at these guys and shut them up. Some new dog in a block, it's all night long, he's barking at nothing. He's just barking to hear his own bark. How? Hey, that's nice. How? And the other senior dogs are looking at him, what's with you, Jack? And then one of the gurus of the dogs said, no, all dogs go through this. You went through this also. It's called discovering your voice. It's a period of growing up as a dog. It's called discovering your voice. Like you see little babies, human babies, they go, ha, and then they make noise like this. They're trying to discover the art of making sound, and then once they figure that out, then it's the pushing is on forever. They just talk Prajalpa from 6 months old until they die. Uncontrolled speech, isn't it? So even everywhere, in every species of life, the pushings of the tongue and belly and genital, everything is going on. So Rupa Goswami says, listen, Jack, you have to get out of that. You have to realize you're a soul. Jaiva Dharma. What is the Jaiva Dharma? The Jiva has a Dharma, Atma Dharma. The eternal identity of the Jiva is a servant of Vishnu. Because we all come from Vishnu. He's the boss. He generated us. We all come from Mahavishnu. Or he's Krishna. Mahavishnu is Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu. And he created us for what? For pleasure. We're his servants. So then, in the middle verses of the Upadeshamrita, it teaches Abhideya, how to be a servant, how to be a Vaishnava, how to serve God. Well, you serve an association, because when you finally control your belly and tongue and words and anger and all these things, and start to practice life as a spiritual personality, as a Vaishnava, then you have to get ready to go to the spiritual world. And the spiritual world it's not just you. Every man is an island, as they say. But that's here in the material world, where everybody thinks he's God, and everyone thinks this world is his island to own, control, and rule over and enjoy. But there's only one island. It's called Svetadweep. Spiritual world, Svetadweep. There's only one God, one boss, Vishnu. Ekala Ishvara, what is it? Krishna. Arasabhya Britya. There's only one Ishvara, God, Krishna, Vishnu. Everyone else is a servant. So then Rupa Goswami's part of his Abhideya, or his methodology of practice and sadhana, he's teaching, listen, you have to learn how to live in the spiritual world. Because that's the whole idea of this teaching of being a Vaishnava and following Jaiva Dharma, is to get mukti, liberation. Dharmart Kal Moksha. And where will you go? You go to Vaikuntha if you're a Vaishnava. Well, what will you do there? You'll live with all kinds of devotees in Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. And what will you do there? Well, you'll tadati pratigrinati, bhukti bhukti jeva. You'll give gifts and you'll receive gifts and you'll share Vishnu Prasad. You'll receive Vishnu Prasad and you'll give Vishnu Prasad. Narada Muni went there to Vishnu Loka. He served Lakshmi Devi for 12 years, and somehow he receives some Vishnu Prasad by her mercy. So these are the teachings where he's teaching us here in this world. We have to learn to live in that world by relating to the Vaishnavas with love and service. This is the substratum of the spiritual world, is love, loving service. Vrindavan is the land of desperados. It's a land of loving, ecstatic, desperate, loving service. People become desperate. So as he's bringing us to the point of Siddhadeya, because the Upadeshamrita starts off with not Siddhadeya. What's not? Neti neti. Not Siddhadeya. Siddhadeya is not an uncontrolled eating machine. Most Atmas are sitting in this body, and it's like an uncontrolled eating machine. Gobble up everything and enjoy everything and do everything in the name of, I'm the enjoyer. If it feels good, do it. So this is the only idea they have. And he says, okay, listen, start step one. You're not an eating machine. You're not a fighting machine. And you're not a talking machine. Blah, 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 blah. You're a serving machine. You're a unit of consciousness, not a body, physical body. You are a unit of consciousness, a serving entity. And you're meant to live in the land of love, and relationships of love with other serving entities called Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Well, what do they do there? Well, they eat. They eat love food. They distribute love food in the mood of dedication and service. Please enjoy the Krishna Prasad, Vishnu Prasad. And they talk. Oh, they talk here also. But they're not uncontrolled talk. It's not vacho vegam. It's not pushing of talk. It's the expression of love. Their talking is the expression of love. It's not the pushing of the passionate tongue to say, oh, how are you? Fine, oh, it's a nice dress. It's not the pushing of passion that makes their tongue move. It's the pushing of love that makes their tongue want to glorify Uttama Shloka Vishnu. So they're talking, and it's very wonderful, sweet, secret talks about the pastimes of Vishnu and Lakshmi and all the devotees in Vaikuntha, or pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Subal and Balaram, and that's all they talk. And they talk, and they talk, and they talk. Yashoda really talks a lot when she goes to the well to get water. Like ladies here go to the laundromat, or they go to the hairdressers. And they talk, and they talk. But it's all Maya. So that you will talk there about Krishna, and you'll hear topics about Krishna, and you'll take Krishna Prasad, and you'll serve Krishna. So he takes us from this material conception into the spiritual conception and the spiritual sadhana to prepare to leave this temporary material body and get a siddhadeha. That's the conclusion of Upadeshamrita, to attain your spiritual body. That's revealed in the last couple instructions. So here in Bhajana Rahasya in text 8, he's refining the Abhideya practice, beginning from Vaidhi sadhana, controlling the tongue, anartha nivritti, coming to nishta, going through ruchi, the taste for serving Vaishnavas, the loving taste of service and appreciation of the Vaishnavas, which means beyond the neophyte conception. The neophyte Vaidhi conception is God is in the deities, kanishta, no nishta. There's no nishtita bhakti there, it's kanishta. Ka nishta, where's the nishta? Kahan, you say in Hindi, kahan, yes? Kahan means where, is that right? So this is kahan nishta, where's the nishta? It's nowhere. Oh, the deities are so beautiful, but you're a stupid. Krishna, you're stupid. Boing. Did you see the deities? Weren't they beautiful this morning? Oh yeah, they're dressed so nice. Hey, you took my Mahaprasad. Krishna, I'm your god brother. Murder each other in the name of, Vaishnava Seva. So then Rupa Goswami takes us to Nishta, then Ruchi. Ruchi is when we can deal as a Vaishnava. Dadati Pratigrinati means Ruchi. This is Rag Bhakti. You have Rag, you have attachment and love for the devotee. Love begins there. One devotee said, Prabhupada, I like Krishna. And I like the deities, but I don't like the devotees so much. I can't so much appreciate my god brothers and god sisters. And what was Prabhupada's reply? What did he say to that? He said that as much as you can love and serve the devotees, your god brothers and god sisters, that's how much you actually love Krishna. So you make a big show of fancy puja. Oh, look at my deities. Oh, yeah, I'll look at your deities. Oh, look at my deities. Such beautiful outfits, such nice jewelry. Oh, they're painted so nice. They look so cute. The deities look so cute and so sweet. So why are you so vicious and vile-like and snake-like? You show a picture. See my deities. Oh, they're so nice. Look at these beautiful eyes and nice big smile. Oh, your deities are really nice. But why are you so ugly? Why are you so venomous and envious and fault-finding and critical and ugly? Why are you so bitter? Your deities are sweet, but you're sour. Why can't you take on some of the qualities of who you're associating with? Or are you really associating with Krishna, or are you associating with a statue? A doll? Because you're supposed to take on the qualities of your association, don't we say that? So if your Krishna is so sweet and so lovable and so kind, how come you haven't become so sweet, lovable, and kind? How come you're so selfish and envious and proud? That means there is no connection between you and your deity. It's just some kind of, doll. If someone's worshiping the deity, are they associating with God? I think so. God doesn't have any good qualities? He's supposed to have a lot of them, like 64 and 26 and so many unlimited qualities. So now he's revving up here in text number 8 of Upadeshamrita to bring us to the point, okay, now we're narrowing down, now we're refining our bhajan, now we've been practicing Raganuga sadhana bhakti together. You, my beloved students, and me, Rupa Goswami, your bhajan shiksha guru, and my co-professor, Raghunath Das Goswami, we've been teaching you together in this Mandri Bhav Sadhana school. We've been teaching you how to attain your Siddhadeha. So now here's a new instruction for all the students. Tanama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan brajetad anuragi jananugami kalam nayad akilam iti upadesha saram. He says, my book is called Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction, the nectar of essential instructions. And now he's saying that in this verse number 8, that this is the Upadesh Saram. Upadesh Saram. So Upadesh means instructions, and it means, Upadesh, Upadesh means to go to a different place. Prabhudatta Desh, right? Go to uptown, change your location. Instructions how to make you go to a higher place. And then he says Saram. Saram means essence. This is the essence. And what's the first thing he says about the essence? Because right after instruction 8 comes 9, 10, and 11. That's the end of the book. 11 is, in your Siddhadeha, on the banks of Radhakund, meditate 24 hours a day on Radha Krishna's Astakali Leela, in your Manasachinta Deha, in your Siddhadeha, and enter there and just do seva. Your Guru given seva, whatever Swami wants, to please and satisfy her. That's the perfection, that's the prayojan, that's the goal. So now, what is the essential instruction to get there? In this verse you can all see, the essence of all instructions is to live out one's life in Vrindavan, following more advanced devotees who love Krishna. And while living in Vrindavan and following, that's what this, it says, that's the third line, is given first in the translation. Tishtan Braje. Braja Tishtan means Brajavas. Tishtan. Stan, Tishtan. Stan means place. Lila Shtali. Tishtan. Braje, to live in Braj. Then Anuragi, Jana Anugami. Anugami. Gami means, almost everyone knows these kind of basic words. Anu means one after the other, to follow. And Gami means Gati. We say Vrindavan Gamana, Mahaprabhu's Vrindavan Gamana Leela, Jagannath's Gamana Leela. It says that. We were discussing that. Jagannath's going from Sri Mandir in his chariot to Gundicha. Sri Gundicha Gaman, G-A-M-A-N, and Gamana Leela means to go, his travel, his yatra, his movement. So Gati, Param Gati, everyone's heard this word, the supreme goal, Param Gati. So Gati, Gamanam, it means to move, to the goal. Anugami. So, Anugami means to follow. Who do you follow? Anuragi Jana. Jana means a person, a man, a woman, whatever. A person, living entity, human being, Jana. Braja Jana? Well, if you listen to the vintage tapes of Srila Prabhupada with a close ear, it's very nice. Prabhupada, when he's first singing this song, in, I don't know when, in the 70s, it's, BBT, he's saying, Prabhupada singing, Jaya Radha. You know this song? You can follow? Yes, Prabhupada. Jaya Radha. So he's saying, Gopi Jana Ranjana Girivaradhari Braja Jana Ranjana. He's saying distinctly, because we have some, after 35 years of hearing Prabhupada, we can finally, hear actually. So hearing is not so easy because there's so much junk in there. So Prabhupada is saying, that's his own ecstasy. It's called Alankar, Kirtan, Kavi Alankar. So it's poetic license. It means the license. If you have a license, you can drive a car. So if you're a poet, you can do things. So the kirtaniers, they add lines. So Anuragi Jana, an Anuragi Jana, so Prabhupada was saying this, is Braja Jana. Braja, why am I talking about Prabhupada? Because I love Prabhupada, and I can't help it. If you love someone, you have to speak about that person. Like you go to work and some guy will say, oh, my wife, she's... And the other guy says, shut up, stop talking about your wife, will you? That's rare. But if the guy is like really intoxicated by his wife's beauty or whatever, he'll talk about it. So we have Anuragi Jana, Braja Jana Ranjana. So you can hear that. Anyone heard this tape? No, he's heard. Gopi Jana. So Prabhupada's remembering gopis, because he's gopi. He's Manjari, so he's Gopi Jana, and Gopi Jana means that those gopis, Jana gopis, those people that are gopis, Lalita Vishaka, Ruparati, Nayana Mani Manjari, and Kala Manjari, and Guna Manjari, and like this. But then he's thinking about all the Brijvasis, because Gopi Jana, Girivar, because Prabhupada, he's meditating on Giridhar, he's meditating on Govardhan Leela, he's singing this song. And he's saying, yeah, the gopis were there under Giridhari, but the Brajajana were also there. You know, he's singing. Because when he's singing, he's singing. When he's not singing, he's singing. Oh, here's the word. Gopi Jana. Nam Rup Gun Leela. That Nam, that song takes one into Leela, Vyasiyadikar. So he sings the song. Sometimes Prabhupada went into trance. I mentioned in Gorakhpur. You don't sing a song, you live a song. Our songs are not songs that we sing. Our songs are songs that we serve, we enter, we live. We live in our songs. We don't sing our songs, we live in our songs. And I said, you don't sing from the mouth, you sing from the heart. You speak from the mouth and sing from the heart. Hi, how are you? Let's sing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Listen to Prabhupada's kirtan. It's coming from his heart, deep in his heart. From the rasa treasure, the rasa nidhi of his heart. That treasure house of rasa, Prabhupada's heart. So when you hear his song, your heart goes, I have to surrender. This is the real thing. This is spiritual sound vibration. This is transcendental vibration directly coming from the spiritual world. It's moving my heart. Prabhupada's singing is moving my heart, making me think, making me feel. When somebody else, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, ding, 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 you know, some fancy bebop tune, Hare Krishna. It's not heart deep, it's lip deep. So Anuragi Jana, and we should, okay, I'm living in Vrindavan, I have my flat, this, that. But are we following an Anuragi Vaishnava? Are we meeting with an Anuragi Vaishnava? Are we serving an Anuragi Vaishnava? Okay, we have Diksha Guru. We have Diksha Guru, and Diksha Guru maybe here and there, maybe if we're lucky, maybe he's in Vrindavan. Or maybe he's outside of Vrindavan. Or maybe we're living in Vrindavan following his teachings. But somehow what he's saying is, he's not just saying, okay, go to Vrindavan, live in Vrindavan. Ah, Shangri-La, El Dorado. I made it. I finally got the money, I got my flat. And Chaitanya Vihar. Now I'm in there. Mukti Prapti, Prem Prapti. It's only, that's like 20% of the success formula. Almost 10%. 90% is Anuragi. To be associating with and serving and hearing from an Anuragi Vaishnava. Sneha, Man, Sneha, Pranaya, Man, Rag, Anurag. And then after Anurag is Mahabhav. Mahabhav is Ruda Mahabhav and Adi Ruda. Sometimes it says there's Anurag, then Bhav Mahabhav. But the Bhav of that Bhav is not, of course, Bhava Bhakti that we're studying, but that Bhav is actually Ruta Mahabhav, and then that Mahabhav is Adi Ruta Mahabhav. So after Anurag, that intense high level of prema, then there's Mahabhav. So an Anuragi Vaishnava is really, really rare and really, really advanced. Because that's one meaning on one level of Anuragi, which is his experience in the Siddhadeha, Sarup Siddhi. But Anuragi in this context means that he is a premi. He's a realized soul. Uttamadikari, he's living on the platform of prema. And Anuragi has intense attachment for Radha and Krishna. But Anurag also means that when we go to Bhavan Vrindavan and Krishna's Leela, then in spiritual bodies, Siddhadeha and Vastu Siddhi, then you can experience these higher levels of prema, sneha, man, pranaya, rag. So Anuragi Vaishnava is living in this world, in front of us, in our eyes. And there's two meanings of it. Because Anuragi can be a very advanced Premi Bhakta that's, Sadhana Siddha or Kripa Siddha Vaishnava, and who's guiding us right now, 2010-11. And the other meaning of it is that we're under the guidance of Rupa Manjari. Because Rupa Manjari is in his spiritual body as Rupa Manjari. So she's experiencing Anurag. And then what will we do when we live in Vrindavan and we're under the guidance? What is the bhajan to attain this siddha deha, which is qualified, which we require to serve the Astakali Leela of Radha and Krishna on the banks of Radhakund, which is the final instruction of Upadeshamrita. What is that sadhana, that avideya? This is the high class sadhana of Raganuga sadhana bhakti. What will one do? Tan, Nam, Rup, Charitari, Sukirtananu. Anu. One after the other, he will chant the holy name and then he'll meditate on the form of Krishna. And Charitari means the pastimes. Chaitanya Charitamrita, the charita, the character, the quality and pastimes. Tannama Rupa Charitari, Sukirtananu. Charitari, Adi, beginning with Nam, then Rupa, then Charita. Sukirtan, very beautiful, very nice kirtan, one after the other. And then that's what he's doing with his physical sadhaka body. And that will purify him as he chants Nam Kirtan, Rupa Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, Lila Kirtan, Yashomati Nandana, Rajabarunagara. So this is Lila Kirtan. It's all about Leelas. Gopi Vastraharana. What's it? How's it? Gopi Vastraharana. That. Or we sing Viva Vari Shesha. This is Nam, different Nam, but there's Leelas there. And then when all this kirtan all purifies, then the second part, Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasiyu. Now we do Manasi. We start doing Smaran. In the mind, we start meditating on the pastimes. So this is what is told here. The essence of all instructions is to live out one's life in Vrindavan, following more advanced devotees who love Krishna. That means Premi Bhakta. And we will progressively engage the tongue and mind in chanting and remembering Krishna's name, form, and pastimes. This is the instruction there. While living in Braj as a follower of those who are attached to Sri Krishna, one should utilize all his time by gradually transferring the absorption of his tongue and mind from matters other than Krishna to the chanting and remembering of narrations of Sri Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. This is the essence of all instruction. So this is the final word of Rupa Goswami. He wrote 25 different books, so many rasa granths, Padyavali and Stavamala, and all these Lalita Manav, Vidagda Manav, Mathura Mahapriyam, Lagu Bhagavatamritam, Upadeshamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwala Nilamani, many, many wonderful books. Many instructions there, many teachings on bhajan, rasa tattva, prema tattva. But then he said, okay, I'm going to summarize all of it in a very small pocket book, small book which everyone can carry with them easily. The Bhajanandi sadhus, the mendicants, the paribrajaks, as they wander around, they can have 11 instructions, 11 verses you can fit on a little card, keep in your pocket. Doesn't weigh anything, it's not a big book. but everything is there. And of all those instructions that Rupa Goswami, he is the Abhideya Acharya. He is teaching the practice of pure devotional service. He gives the definition of pure devotional service. He explains the practice and the goal of pure devotional service. He explains how to engage in Radha and Krishna service in one's Siddha Deha. Everything he's teaching. And so all those teachings and instructions are summarized here. Upadesh Saram. So it's interesting that he's emphasizing so much. He says first Nam, then Rup, then qualities and pastimes, then Smaran. Smrityo Kramena. Krama means step by step. We chant the name sufficiently, then the name reveals itself as Krishna, and Krishna reveals his form, and Krishna reveals his qualities, and he starts to reveal his pastimes through the means of Nam Kirtan. This all comes by the means of Nam Kirtan. Nam, then the last line is Kirtan, which means Nam Kirtan, which means Sankirtan. Doesn't say japa. It's kirtan. Japa is in the mind. Manasik japa, upamshu japa, uchaisik japa. It says Nam kirtan, Rup kirtan, Charita kirtan, and Sukirtan. So Nam kirtan will familiarize ourselves with the transcendental identity of Krishna and his name as being non-different. Nam was it? Pinatvam Namanamano. And then our mind, by all that Nam Kirtan, our mind will be sufficiently purified so that we can Smrityo Kramena. Krama means like Urukram. You've heard of Urukram, Trivikram. Vamanadeva is called Trivikram, 3 steps, Vikram, Kram. Kram means steps. Kramena. Smrityo Kramena. So then we will be able to enter the land of Smaran. Smarana Anga Bhajan. Step by step. And then there's 5 levels of Smarana. And then finally we'll experience Rasana Manasi Niyojya. Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. This is the goal of the Sukirtan and the goal of the Smarana Anga Bhajan is Rasana Manasi Niyojya. That Niyojya, our mind and heart will be very tightly connected with Radha and Krishna, with their hearts. Tadatmika. Bhav Tadatmika. Bhavichatmika. Bhavichatmika. There's Bhogichatmika and Bhavichatmika. The manjaris are in the mood of Bhavichatmika. Atmika. Bhav means their bhav. Bhavulas rati. Bhav icha atmika. Bhavichatmika. Means that the mind, the heart, spiritual body, Siddhadeha, Yantas Chintadeha, of the sadhaka will be one with the bhav and heart of Radharani. So at that point, then one will relish rasa, when that manasi niyojya, when that mind, atma, heart, everything is niyojya, tightly connected. Niyojya means yoga, like yoga, niyojya, tightly connected, unified with, one with, like the iron rod in the fire. It's tightly connected with the fire, it becomes like fire. It acts like fire. The iron burns, it lights up, it illuminates, it burns. So then, Rasana Manasi Niyojya, then our mind will relish ras, bhakti ras, because then we'll be on the platform of bhav and prema. So this very verse is taking us through this ruchi, Because if one doesn't have ruchi, he won't want to live in Vrindavan. If one doesn't have ruchi, he won't want to associate with Vaishnavas, advanced Vaishnavas. If one doesn't have ruchi, he won't take up the chanting of the holy name seriously. If one doesn't have ruchi, he won't be detached from all these enjoyments. Because what's the symptom of ruchi? The dhanam, the janam, the sundaram, kavitam va jagadisham, kamir. This is ruchi. And in Vaidhi sadhaka, he will attain, in Vaidhi sadhana, one becomes nishta, and nam, by developing the four qualities. This prepares one to come to the platform of ruchi. This is anartha nivrti and nishta. What is that verse? Anartha nivrti and nishta, as a Vaidhi sadhaka, what is the verse? Trinadapi. What does this verse describe? Anartha nivrti, and it describes nishta for the Vaidhi sadhaka. The Vaidhi sadhaka goes up to nishta, and then Raganuga sadhana begins with ruchi. Real Raganuga sadhana, not fake. Imitative. Trinadapi sunichena turori vasahishna amanina manidena kirtani sadhari. One actually now has some genuine Vaishnava qualities. He actually appreciates others. Oh, you guys are bogus. You're ISKCON, you're all bogus. You're no Sampradaya, your acharyas are bogus. You don't have Siddha Pranali. This is all false ego. This is all pride. This is not respect for the line of thought or respect for the line of sadhana of another group. This is a type of anartha, to have envy of another group, to argue, fight with another group. These are explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there's different demons in the Krishna book which represent, there's the 21 demons represent anarthas. You can see it's mentioned in our Appreciating Vrindavan book, it's mentioned in Krishna Samhita, and it's mentioned in Chaitanya Shikshamrita by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The tendency to argue with other groups and oppose the philosophical conclusions of other religious groups is an anartha. And it's represented by, Ristasura. It's one of those demons, it's there. And it's very prevalent. Oh, I found the truth, the way, and the light. I found my guru, I found the path. You guys are all bogus. And then we make a big campaign to reveal how much you're bogus and show all the faults in your line of thought. This is all aparad. This is Vaidhi sadhana. This is anartha nivrti. He's not even approached the threshold of nishta. And such a person, you won't find him fixed in Kirtaniya Sadhari. He's too busy on the internet, on the chat line. Chat line Sadhari. Chat line Sadhari's answering all kinds of mails. Yes, they're bogus, and yes, they're bogus, and come with us. Where one actually appreciates and loves all the Vaishnavas and sees the perfection of all their lines of thought and all the realizations of their acharyas. Every line is perfect. And if he has attained any success in his life of bhajan, if he's attained any fortune by his association, he holds that fortune and that success in the most humble and secret and tender way in his heart. And he seeks no adoration or distinction from others, although he may have genuinely accomplished something. But he doesn't want, it's called amanina manadena. Manadena means respect for all the groups and their philosophies, and see the beautiful expression of Krishna's mercy coming in all different ways. But there's no right and wrong in spirituality. It's shades of right. It's all right. The Buddhists are right. They're all right. No, they're all right. We're wrong. That's the problem. We're envious. We're insecure. Mostly people are insecure, envious, unrealized, lack of determination. and lack of understanding of tattva. So they find some new idea, oh yeah, I found it. And they start jumping on the heads of every other idea they ever embraced. This is nishta. This Vaidhi sadhana should bring us to nishta. And what's the sign of nishta? The one that has 4 qualities. He's more tolerant than a tree. He's humbler than a blade of grass. So, okay, so ask ourselves, okay, so many of us are living in Braj. Are we doing Nam, Rup, Charitati, Sukirtananu? Smrityo, Kramena. Happily glorifying Krishna's name, form, qualities, constant remembrance, where my tongue and mind are in perfect harmony, unison. Then residing in the forests of Vrindavan, in the forest bowers, as a maidservant to one of Radha and Krishna's beloved associates, I will serve the divine couple, immersed in their 8-fold daily pastimes. This is the translation of the Bengali version of this verse given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Krishna Nam Rupa Guna Lila Sankirtan Anusmriti Krame Jiva Manasam Yojan Kunje Vasa Anuragi Janadasi Haya Ashtakala Bhaji Lila Majia. This is his translation. Nice. He stretches it a little bit more, but he includes all the points of Rupa Goswami's verse, because Rupa Goswami is explaining here there's a progression from the tongue to the mind. By the tongue, this verse from Upadeshamrita number 8 starts Tan Nama Rupa Charitati Sukirtanano Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi. So there's a whole lot of words before we get to Manasi, Niyojya. So there's a progression, Anukram. Kramena means step by step progression. There's a progression from the tongue to the mind. By the tongue, Rupa Goswami means engaging in Sukirtan, in Kirtan, Nam Kirtan. If one engages in Kirtan, hearing follows. If this hearing is done properly, then Kirtan is perfected. And we say Shravana Dasha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that the first level of Smarana begins with Shravana Dasha. Shravana Dasha. Hearing very nicely. That's the whole idea of surrendering to Guru and serve. Arjuna surrendered to his Guru Sri Krishna. He tried to serve his instructions and understand them. And in the course of that delivery, Krishna told Arjuna, Tat Shrinu. Tat Shrinu. Shrinu means hear, just hear me. So the Guru gives Upadesh, or he gives Agya. And then like we say, that the expert disciple is one, a good disciple. What is the definition of good disciple? He hears attentively, then hears attentively, and then submissively serves the order of the Guru without change or hesitation. So the step one is hearing attentively. Even the Guru says, bring me a cup of water. And the disciple is a little bit tamasic or rajasic. So he doesn't hear attentively what the Guru asked. And he runs away. Yes, Gurudev. And he runs away. And he comes back with milk. And the Guru says, did you hear me? Yes, you asked for water. No, I asked for milk. Oh, I'm sorry. So the whole process of serving Guru and getting Guru Agya is to learn how to hear attentively. Because the service of Guru purifies the mind from the modes of nature, So then we can have that purified mind which we can hear attentively. Then when we perform kirtan, like the example Prabhupada was saying, Bhajana Ranjana, he's doing kirtan, Leela kirtan, with all his disciples. Bhajana, and what are the disciples saying in response? Gopijana Ranjana. And Prabhupada again says, Bhajana Ranjana, in this vintage tape. So that's, the Guru there is giving an instruction in the form of kirtan, and the disciples are not hearing attentively. And they're replying differently. So Sukirtan, so that's why he says Sukirtan. Why does he say Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtan? What is Sukirtan? It means souped up kirtan? Su means this very attentive hearing and then chanting, not just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hearing very attentively, with rapt attention, and then chanting. So that's the result, the seva. When one serves Guru very nicely, he learns how, when one serves Guru very nicely, then he learns how to hear attentively. And when he learns how to hear attentively, then he can chant and kirtan very attentively and perform Su-kirtan. If this hearing is done properly, then kirtan is perfected. If one hears properly, then remembrance will be done properly. This is the krama, kramena, smrityo kramena. This is the progression, step by step. All these aspects of devotional service are important, but chanting is still the most important. Kirtan removes the useless thoughts from the mind, without doing which we cannot remember Krishna. As we progress in kirtan, we come to the point of smaranam. Tan, nam, rup, charitari, sukirtanu. Anu means following one after the other. Then smrityo. This is why Jiva says, even though one must engage in meditation or lila smaran, astikali lila smaran, one should do so. One should do so without abandoning the chanting of the holy name. So we practice even in Vaidhi sadhakas, we can practice thinking of Krishna's pastimes. We can read the Krishna book or read some lila granth, and then close the book and try to chant. And even while we're reading, we should be chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. That's not our japa, not that you chant your 16 rounds like that. This is your reading time, but then reading should be mixed with chanting. Some people ask, can we read the Lila Shastra while chanting? Can we read Krishna while chanting? No. You close your eyes while chanting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur put a black cloth over his face, so he couldn't see anything. And then he would chant. So this is the krama, the smarana krama. You can tanama rupa charitadi sukirtananu, step by step kirtan. Krishna's Kaviraj says that one should take care of the bhakti creeper by watering it with hearing and chanting. And he says, the 9 kinds of devotion are completed by chanting the holy name. Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva says, Yadyapi anya bhakti kalo kartavya tada kirtanakya bhakti samyogeni aiva. Even though other kinds of devotion must be done, we must hear about Krishna, and we must remember Krishna, worship Krishna, and pray to Krishna. They must be done along with chanting. So at no step, at none of the krama means the steps, at no steps of devotion. What are the steps of devotion? Ado shraddha, tata sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, narta nivriti, tato nishta, tata ruchi. That the steps of devotion are faith, association, sadhu sangha, and then bhajan, practicing bhajan, and then anartha nivriti. Every step there is chanting, Krishna, Nam Kirtan. And then every step of Raganuga Sadhana, there's Nam Kirtan. Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam. Raganuga Bhakti emphasizes Smaranam, but then Smaranam plus Nam Kirtan. Look at the description of Raghunath Das and the six Goswamis' bhajan in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. None of them ever engaged in Smaranam independently of chanting the holy name. It's described in Antya Leela that Raghunath Das Goswami was day and night meditating on the Astakal Leela of Radha and Krishna. But he was also chanting the holy names along with that. We'll continue with this text 6 tomorrow from Bhajana Rahasya.